What is up? What is up? Welcome back to another NBA Rundown brought to you courtesy of Run Pure Sports and Run Pure Bets. I'm joined today by Tyler Hicks. Tyler, JSU and I did great today. Yesterday, so the pressure will be on. JSU gave out Utah. You know, that was it. That was, hey, they looked pretty good. And then, of course, I was on Memphis. And I was thinking about it while I watched the game. I don't know how much of it you saw because I know your hometown Steelers were playing at the same time. But JSU made the point how even if they're no names, all these young players are going to get up to play against LeBron and Westbrook, right? Because they most likely grew up watching them and playing them. And that made me feel even stronger about the side I was on. I was already on that side, but that made me feel stronger. And then I just felt it came to life. Did you see any of that game? And maybe some thoughts, because that's the talk of the day, right? Whenever the Lakers lose, people don't know what to make of it. What were your thoughts on that game?
I didn't catch much of it. I seen the highlights on ESPN this morning. I was watching the Steelers get obliterated by the Vikings before they finally woke up.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I think you're definitely right. All these young guys, because you think about it, too. Most of these young guys played his son in high school in these AAU circuits. Why not want to beat up on the dad? You figure Zaire Williams, I'm not sure if he played for Memphis.
He didn't play last night.
Yeah, he played with Bronny on his high school team. So.
Oh, did he? Okay,
yeah.
So that's good knowledge. I didn't know that.
BJ Boston's another one that played with them guys. So it's like all these young guys, they played with his kids. So they're definitely going to get up to beat up on a little bit.
Well, yeah, I can't. Jonathan Nelson, we will get into that. We'll see if that's too far, right? We talk about, buying low and selling high. That might just be a little over the top. But let's jump into the card. Let's start with my team. Tyler, that's the first on the board if you're looking on Bookmaker. Sacramento Kings -1 headed to Charlotte to take on the Hornets. Total 231. Of course, the Hornets would be favored, but I mean, the whole team's half the team's out, right? Plumlee's out, Ish Smith's out, Jalen McDaniels out, Terry Rozier's out. PJ Washington on this list is doubtful, but I think I saw it come across that he's going to be out, and LaMelo Ball out as well. So not much going there for Charlotte. That being said, I mean, what does it say about the Kings that with all those people out, they're barely even favored? You know my thoughts on this Kings team. I'm not really too high on them. I don't think that they're built very well. This will be an interesting matchup, though. I think Rashawn Holmes does well. What are your thoughts on this game?
I agreed, but he's another name on the injury list. He's out. He ain't coming back till the 13th. Because I was going to target his props, and I see his name up here too. He's the only guy on there for Sacramento.
What does he have? An eye?
Yeah, eye injury, estimated return 12-13.
They're one of the few teams that I'll rage quit in the game, so that's why I missed it.
But yeah, I mean, Charlotte has played tough with these guys out. Mm-hmm. So a small lean to them at home. But I want to see, it's going to sound crazy, I want to see some Bagley props pop up spread.
That's not crazy at all.
Somebody's got to play big man for this team tonight.
Yeah, and of course it will be also a little bit of Alex Len and Metu. And it's just not going to be good. So
it's going to be an ugly game, but that total seems a bit high. Even though these two teams should get out running 231, how many totals do we see get that high this year?
I mean, after week 3 when they first adjusted, we haven't seen many. So remember last year that would have been normal, right?
Yeah, that was
231 would have been right
year.
in the middle, right? A couple 224s, couple 238s. So you think you like under there? I think I kind of agree with you.
Yeah, I lean under, and I think the side's pretty much a coin flip. It wouldn't surprise me to see Sacramento run them off the floor because they have the best player on the floor tonight. But it also wouldn't surprise me. Fox
is he really?
Fox is the best player.
I mean, best offensive player.
But and then it's Charlotte's played good with Bridges being their main focal point. So
okay, let me just say, if I was starting a team, I'd rather have Bridges than Fox. Am I crazy? And is that too much short term because Fox?
I think it's a bit short. I think it's a bit short term because I think you've stared at Fox lose for what, 6 years? I think he's fed up.
It's 6th year. He's not playing. That's what I'm saying. He's not playing hard right now. This iteration of him, he's checked out.
Yeah, it's if you could give me Fox from last year or Bridges from this year, I'm taking Fox from last year every time.
Yeah, I mean, I was joking around it with the guys in our NBA chat, and one of them, Whale's a swimmer. And I said, well, people don't like swimming upstream very much, do they? Right? Everyone else is just rolling right downstream, right in the momentum. And you got to swim upstream every night. It's got to be tough for Fox. So don't necessarily blame him, but the way he's playing right now, not too excited. Maybe it's time for a change of scenery there. Yeah, I'm not going to get involved because obviously maybe my emotions are clouding this because I'm so fed up with this team. And obviously I spend, more time talking about them just because when I'm out and about, they're the subject of conversation. If I piss JSU off and listen to my local radio, they're the subject of conversation. And it's just the same old story over and over. So it'd be interesting to see. But I think we both agree. We like the under 231. Bagley props, did you find any yet?
No, I'm not seeing any numbers listed for him on any books. So it might be one of the ones. It might just be a DFS little like token or something. Use them.
Okay, yeah. I was going to say Holmes in DFS, but I didn't realize he had hurt his eye. So excuse me for being ignorant on that. Let's move to the Dallas Mavericks. +1.5 heading to Indiana to take on the Pacers. This line was 2. Now the Pacers are -1.5. These are the totals we're used to, Tyler. 213.5. I'll give you my ideas on this game. So Indiana, and it sucks that we switched the time and West Coast Jim's not able to watch with us, right? Because he would always say, I love the drama, but Indiana's got more drama, right, Tyler? So we saw that, Sabonis and Karis LeVert might be on the trade block. And then Miles Turner basically came out and said, I want to be traded. They're not using me correctly. The Pacers also canceled practice yesterday because of COVID worries. Their coach, Rick Carlisle, has COVID, and guard Justin Holiday will be out with COVID as well. So could be worried, it sucks putting that bet in now and finding out half the team, test positive. But I think they would have already had shoot around. So hopefully the news is safe. So here's the deal on this game. I think that you're really playing it by feel. I don't know how you can kind of mathematically model this or trust a model in this situation. Do the Pacers fold here? My idea is that they get kind of a short-term bump, right? There's some tension in the air. And I remember that used to be like a trick they would use like at UPS when we were getting, when I worked there, when everyone was getting kind of complacent, right? You create some tension, you create some controversy. Well, they didn't, create it on purpose, but it seems like that happens. It always seems like we would get a short-term bump in performance. Everybody's kind of focused, pissed off, and wants to prove that they're either right or wrong. So I like Indiana here, but like I said, it's tough because I'm pretty much speculating on the mental mindsets of people that I don't really know, right? I mean, like we see Miles Turner, and we watch him in interviews, but we don't really know these guys. And then on the other side, Dallas is pretty tired. They've been on a long road trip. But I think this cap is basically around Indiana because in a normal situation, you'd be fading Dallas here on the road trip and taking Indiana, who's much better at home than on the road. Of course, the situation clouds everything. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, situation definitely clouds everything. Now, they for sure won't have Carlisle coaching tonight.
He's out for sure.
Yeah, that kind of takes away one of the spots I was looking at because revenge game for the coach. He was going to get,
and not even revenge because, well, maybe kind of. I mean, barely.
He was always good in Dallas, and they kind of just were like, "We need something new, so you got to kind of go." Yeah. So
I think he wanted to go too, though. I don't think he got along with Luka at all.
Yeah, I think that was a big behind the scenes thing.
It felt like it was a mutual, right? There was no one was crying with the boombox. Come back to me, right?
Yep.
So,
but I mean, yeah, I agree with you. Small lean to the Indiana side, but it's just tough to bet this game, like you said, with all the outside noise.
Mm-hmm.
Give me the under here, though, spread. We seen Dallas play a slow game with the Nets the other night. Yeah. Indiana's more like a bang it down low kind of team. Like, yeah, they'll eat you up outside, but the moment Dallas comes back down, they're going to slow it down too. So give me the under here.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. Also, I would look, on props, Porzingis unders maybe. He does really well like against Memphis, and I missed that game, and I was disappointed to drop that play that I give out on the show on Wednesday. But he did a good job attacking the big man, especially when he was smaller. Indiana's a bigger team. I wonder if he will be limited as well. Maybe bigger and ice for Brunson, Luka, Hardaway, the perimeter guys, because I think that's a better place to attack. So Lamar Jackson's in the chat saying Dallas is second in the league for least turnovers. Well, yeah, because Luka just dribbles around and shoots. It's just like Harden, right? He never has a turnover, at least in Houston, right? Why? Because he wasn't passing, right?
And when he did, it was the handoff at the rim, lay this in, Clint Capella.
Right, yeah. So it's weird because turnovers are so deadly and we don't like ball hogs, but to a certain extent, you can definitely drive those numbers by not passing. But I'm not surprised, right? Because
doesn't Porzingis have more troubles with like the smaller guys when they guard him? Like the guys that are shorter than him but quicker than him, it can just get up and underneath them.
What I've been watching, and I'm just using this year as a sample, I think that was traditionally so, but now that he's kind of back to himself, at least physically, he's doing better because he's able to just get by and use his size to just bank the shot over the guy in the paint. So
gotcha.
Yeah. So
I say his number is 18.5. It seems a bit short, but this could be a matchup, like you said, where Sabonis and Turner are just all over him.
Especially because I think they're both going to be motivated to either, number one, prove that they're right, that they need to have the bigger roles, especially in Turner's case. And two, if they don't want to be in Indiana, right, you want to put out big numbers so that, you know,
your draft stock.
Yeah, Portland's trying to trade for you. Philly's trying to trade for you, right? Like, you want to move, you want to be the man. I think that's so I personally think they're going to get a bump here. I like the Indiana side. So we'll see. I like this game even more, though. The Brooklyn Nets are plus 1.5. They head to Atlanta to take on the Atlanta Hawks, minus 1.5. Total 228. Injury report. Do we have news? Because, of course, I checked this morning. Cam Reddish is now in. Okay, so that helps the Hawks.
And I don't see another name on there.
Right, but that's because DeAndre Hunter and Bogdan Bogdanovic have been just ruled out for so long they don't throw it on Basketball Monster, which kind of pisses me off because
then you forget about them.
Yeah, especially right now I'm good because I've been doing it every day. But let's say you take a little break and you come back after 3 days. So that's the only thing that I wish they would switch about that side. But otherwise, they do a great job. So Reddish is in, that helps. But let's look at this game, Tyler. Unless Atlanta blows them out, like I just like KD and Harden towards the end of the game in a close game. And Atlanta's not been defending well lately. I think the main thing that you would take here is how much better they are at home. I mean, they're unbelievable at home. So if you want to make that as your prime argument, it's hard for me to counter that. But I still think this game stays close, and I trust Harden and Durant, to be able to get the buckets towards the end of the game. Also, I do think that Brooklyn is taking this seriously, as evidenced by the fact that they sat Aldridge and Durant on Wednesday. I don't think that was just, hey, we need to rest him. I think that was looking at the schedule. Hey, even if we lose to the Rockets, which they did, this game is going to matter for playoff conference seedings way more because it's one of our biggest rivals. And, with the standings going up and down, the head-to-head might matter, and we want to give them that L, even if it means taking the L to Houston. So I believe that Brooklyn's also going to coach this and approach this with more intensity than they normally do because we know they're definitely a team that the motivation waxes and wanes. I've heard smart people on the Hawks, though, Tyler. So which side are you on?
Yeah, I mean, it should be a big game for the Nets. This should be a game they want to win. But there's games I've pinpointed as that for the Nets over the past 2 years. They don't care about the regular season spread. They can go out and lose this game to Atlanta by 50 and let ESPN talk the whole time afterwards. And if they match up with them in the playoffs, they might just floor them and just 4-0 them. So I'm probably going to lean the Atlanta side as they're the home dog.
Yeah.
And then you look at some of these player performance doubles on FanDuel. Clint Capella double in Atlanta wins plus 200. I mean, he should be good for 10 boards here. It's just, can he get the 10 points on the little lay-ins? And you could pretty much arb the game already because James Harden double in Brooklyn wins plus 190. Realistically, if either of those happening in the wins is pretty good. So
yeah, I like that. Clint Capella props. We the people says Clint Capella is going to eat on the glass.
I like his rebounds over 13.5 at even money.
Pocket QB says Nets are awful versus elite teams. And my question for you, are the Hawks an elite team?
Yeah, I mean, I still think so.
Okay. I don't know if I'm there
yet. I'd say they're top 3 or 4 in the East.
So here's my view on the Hawks, right? I think they're a very good team, and obviously I'll be backing them a lot. But obviously they started slow last season. They got the new coach bump with McMillan. They played great defense for, I don't know, when was McMillan hired? January or February last year, right?
Yeah.
For 3 months.
Yeah, they played good defense up until the playoffs.
Right. And we talk about running pure. They kind of ran pure in the playoffs as well, right? To draw that Philadelphia team that was kind of a mess going into that game, which made them conference finalists. But I always wonder, how Portland made the Western Conference Finals that year? And they always point to it, but you go back and you're like, they ran pure to make that Western Conference Finals. I wonder if the Hawks are that same way. Not that they're not a good team, because Portland's a good team at home as well. But I just wonder if they're elite and they're going to be able to do it year after year, especially because they can't stay healthy. I think DeAndre Hunter and Bogdanovic are such a big key to this team, on both ends of the floor. So That would be my answer there. Our guy Pocket QB says they're top 4 in the East, and
who's
Ryan
your top
Nichols
4 in the East right now, Spread?
What's up?
Who's your top 4 in the East? Brooklyn, Milwaukee, pencil in your other 2.
I mean, Miami. Are we just saying at full strength?
Yeah.
Yeah, Miami. I'd have ahead of them. And then I guess Atlanta would be there.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're 4th.
I think that the 3 that I mentioned, I think it's like if you were to do tiers, though, right? I mean, I don't think the distance between 2 to 3 is the same as 3 to 4, right? Like the first 3, I think, are pretty close. They could all win the East if they're healthy. I think Atlanta has to run pure again and have injuries to those top 3 teams to make it. And then, of course, we also left out Philadelphia. But
I don't factor them in anymore right now until they make some moves.
My concern with them is JSU and I talked about it yesterday. Embiid's leadership and his conditioning. I think it's hard to have a team that goes from the guy being the funny guy to a tough guy, and you never know what you're going to get. And then also, he's always bad in the fourth quarter, which is why I like to fade him when the other team's catching a lot of points.
Yep, 100%.
So, all right. I don't think we have Philadelphia on the card, so I don't think we buried any leads there. Nope. Let's go on to your team, Tyler, the New York Knicks. Bing bong, +1.5, heading to Toronto to take on the Raptors, -1.5. 207 is the total. These are 2 teams that when I was doing the numbers this week, because I usually refresh it all once a week, I was looking to fade both of them. They're both regressing a lot compared to where I had them like 3 to 4 weeks ago, right? So I was thinking, because I think I weight last 5 more than other people do. I have them a lot lower than everyone else. Now they're facing each other. So I'm like, dang it. 2 teams that I kind of, circled in. Like,
yeah, say your fades are meeting each other.
Yeah, my 2 fades are meeting each other right now. I think the Knicks are maybe of a bigger fade because, of course, they get so much attention compared to Toronto. They can kind of, take a losing streak, and it's not the end of the world with the fan base and the media. OG Anunoby, we see how much he means to that team because offense hasn't been the same while he's out. I don't want to get involved in this game. If we're picking every game, I'll take the Raptors because, they're so good at home. But would I be surprised if the Knicks won here? I would not. So what are your thoughts on this game?
Yeah, I mean, I'll go the other way. We'll just split it. I'll take my favorite team.
That's fine. Like I said, I'm not really strong on this.
I think they're the better team. We're going to have the best player on the floor in Randall. So, I mean, yes, Toronto plays good at home, but Knicks are, just like you said, they're reeling. I can see this being the spot where, like, we need a win. A pretty weak team. They should be able to muscle this team.
But it's like, what do they do when they need a win? They already play their guy 44 minutes anyways, and I'll concede that you got best player on the floor. But what if I said I got 2, 3, and 4?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't.
I got the second best, the third best, and the fourth best, right?
Yeah, maybe even the 5th best.
So it'll be interesting how that works out. What are you feeling on the Knicks overall? Like, I know you're a fan, and I know the fan base is frustrated, but I also think. It might be a case like with Atlanta that the inflated expectations off. They went from no one expected them to be in the playoffs last year, right? When we did our previews before 2020, we had the Knicks in the lottery, right? And we were scouting guys for you that might fit on the team, right? If they had a top
blew
pick.
It because they wanted to be best way to put it. They wanted to be practice superstars last year when none of the other teams were trying in the regular season.
Yeah,
and they were running their guys 40 minutes. They ran into a 4 seed. They were like, oh. We actually look like a good team now. And then all the other teams decided to actually play basketball, and you see what happened in the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the talent that Atlanta's acquired compared to New York, and they just have such a much deeper roster. And it sucks because Randall was so good last regular season, right? And it's just almost like no matter what he does in the regular season, we're not going to believe it until it's a playoff series where he gets a good performance, right? Because it's and that has to be weighing on him too as well. So he's been playing great, but so we're opposite there.
I would give away that 4 seed last year for a top 4 pick in this past draft.
Of course.
Like with those 4 guys that came out, I would have rather us sucked last year.
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking.
Can you imagine if the Knicks picked up Mobley and put him next to Randall instead of just making the 4 seed and winning 1 playoff game?
Yeah, as I was walking, I'm the same way with my team, right? So I'm walking around and I'm pissed off because the Kings are so terrible. And it was like a couple of my friends invited me to a game, and I was like, I'm not even going to go because I don't want to support Vivek. That's how mad I am in it right now. And like part of the thing I'm mad about is this like insane push to make the playoffs where they always fall short. And I was just thinking like Davion Mitchell's cool, but what if we got Evan Mobley?
Yeah.
Right? Like, could he have done that turnaround with us? Like, are the Cavaliers that much farther away, or that much farther along than we are? So I agree with you there. So maybe I'll be right tonight, and the Raptors will help you in your quest to get a better draft pick. But like I said, not get involved in that game.
I wanted the last draft spread when the draft was loaded.
How do you think? Now we're doing it like that you and I did yesterday, and really going off the rails. But you follow college much more than me, and the prospects much more than me. I just find like a European guy that I like and spam your DMs with his highlights every year. But what do you think of this year's draft compared to last year's, of what you've seen so far?
It's got some good players in it. I'm not sold on the homegrown kid out of Gonzaga. I mean, he is 7.
I like him.
He kind of plays like a guard. But
they all do now.
But he weighs as much as me at 7'3" spread. We could throw him like a javelin.
But everyone, they're going to gain weight, right? Like Giannis was that way at that age.
Giannis wasn't that skinny.
He was skinny.
Yeah, he's like skinnier than KD when KD was at Texas skinny. Like
that's like as skinny as you can be.
Yeah, like
that's like the skinniest human on the planet.
I think the big man out of Memphis is going to be a problem.
Who's that?
Duran, the actual center.
I haven't watched him yet.
Imani Bates, of course, the other kid at Memphis.
Yeah, I was going to say that's the one they all talk about.
He's going to be great. The couple kids at Alabama will be good guards. But other than that,
is there any cool European prospects this year? Because I haven't.
There's the one guy I sent you. He's from Serbia. His name's Nikolai Jovic.
Oh yeah.
It's
like Jovic or something.
Yeah,
with
a V. Take out the K and change it to a V.
Yeah.
Plays the same way as him. He's a power forward.
Yeah, well, you know me, I like my little Şengün Jokic clone, so that'll be interesting. Sorry about the detour. We will get right back on track with the Cleveland Cavaliers and Evan Mobley that we just discussed, because Tyler and I both wish that he was playing for our favorite teams. Mobley leads the Cavaliers into Minnesota to take on the Timberwolves. Timberwolves now plus 1.5. This line has shifted about 3 points. The Timberwolves were favored this morning. Totals 213. Tyler, why did the line move? Because D'Angelo Russell was ruled out. He means a lot to this team. So, I love my superstar subtraction theory, right, Tyler? But in this case, I don't love it because I think we have an interesting situation with D'Angelo Russell where, I listen to Danny LaRue a lot, and he talks about using his priors, and that's basically like using our preseason assessments and then not trying to vary too much just off the first 20 games that we see. And I would say that all our priors on D'Angelo Russell's defense are wrong, because – not wrong, but, throw him out like he's improved, he's figured it out. Because at Golden State, I was like, this guy's never going to be good. He just doesn't get it. You can't only play on one end of the floor. Now, surprisingly, he's been like a good defender, and I think it's getting kind of unnoticed because he's doing so well on the offensive end too. But, it's like a lot of people are like, oh, well, the defense goes up with Beverly in the game. And I'm like, not even that much anymore, because Beverly slowed down and Russell's got better, right? So now you're basically just losing all Russell's offense. And I don't think it's that upgrade defensively that people think. I think without Russell in here, I lean towards the Cleveland side. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, give me Cleveland here. Who would have thought a 2-big lineup would be working in today's NBA?
It's almost a 3-big lineup.
Yeah,
right?
That's what I was getting to next. I was about to say it's almost like a 3-big, because Markkanen's damn near 7 foot, and you're starting him in the 3 spot. So it's like you're basically running 2 guards. Could you imagine if Sexton never got hurt? You'd have 2 guards under 6'2" playing, and then 3 guys over 7 foot in the front.
I think the reality of if Sexton didn't get hurt, I would have dangled him at the trade deadline, because they already didn't extend him. And then even if you get like just an average wing, like I'm trying to think, just anyone that like
if they move Sexton for like a LeVert, that'd be perfect.
Yeah, I don't think, even if you don't get a guy as good as LeVert, I think you could even get like a Malik Beasley or even just like the most average wing, because there's no fit there, right? Like him and Garland, it was like, let's get them. Let's see which one's better. And I would say I'd rather have Garland, wouldn't you?
Yeah. I mean, Sexton's basically a 6'1" Russell Westbrook that doesn't have the athleticism what Russ has. He tries to go straight at the hoop every time.
And he doesn't have that like ridiculous self-confidence either.
Yeah. But yeah, for this game, I mean, I don't see that D'Angelo's ruled completely out yet. I see he has a questionable tag. So
I'm just going off the line movement. The line movement says he's out. So excuse me, I should have clarified that.
Yeah, I mean, I lean towards he's out, but we targeted this spot the other day in the Cleveland game. Mobley's going to be matched up with Vanderbilt here. Vanderbilt's like 6'8". He shouldn't be able to guard Mobley that well. Give me Mobley over 14.5 points here again.
All right. We the People says he's out. Yeah, I thought he was out for sure. The line movement says he's out on our basketball monster that we use.
Yeah, I just see ankle soreness injury questionable tag.
We the People was giving us the good information though yesterday, given the lines before we knew him. So he's got a source better than basketball monster. He's probably got a what's the best account now? Underdog, right?
Yeah.
That's the new big dog. The Underdog's the big dog. Hater to love it. The Underdog's on top. Cavaliers have been coached great, right? We can't disagree with that. So agree with you there. Pocket QB. The Milwaukee Bucks.
I hope they don't fizzle out like they did last year. Remember they did this for like 3 weeks to start the season last year, and it was like, oh, maybe they'll like make a playoff run, and then they went right down the drain.
Yeah, but that was like 3 weeks, and this has been like close to 2 months. Like the season's 30% over. Isn't that crazy?
I was gonna say, fight for a playoff spot here, build something. Hopefully, you got.
It's so funny because especially like for casual basketball fans, right? That don't bet, that just your sports watching bro that you talk to at the bar, like back before COVID when people went to bars. For them the basketball season didn't start till Christmas, right?
Yep.
And now because they're trying to space it out with less back-to-backs, there's gonna be so much of the season done before Christmas, before people are tuning in. It's just when they say like how far the season's long, I'm like, yeah, I guess yes, you're right with all these records here. So real interesting there. Milwaukee Bucks head to Houston to take on the Rockets. Rockets are now plus 9.5. This opened at 8.5, total 226. I'm looking at the injury report, and this is just people piling on the Bucks, I guess, in that get back spot, right? Your guy Jalen Green's out. Oh, Kevin Porter's out. Deshaun Tate
is out. Daniel House is out.
But Garoba hasn't even played this year, has he?
I think he played a little bit at the beginning.
Yeah, that's not a big deal. Like, so if you have a model, right, Garoba being out doesn't change anything because he didn't play enough to actually change your inputs. Same with Daniel House, right?
Yeah.
So did you ever hear the rumor, as long as we're going to just go podcast style again today, that he actually didn't even sneak that girl in and that he took the hit for Harden and it was Harden that did it?
Yeah, I heard that. Yeah. He just they were like, we can't lose our best player. They look around the room. They're like, you want to be the guy? And he's like, I guess so.
I wonder if his wife was in on it because you remember she was like Instagramming about divorcing him. I wonder if he's just like, hey, honey, the Rockets are going to shoot us $500K under the table. Make this BS Instagram post, and I'll be home with the cheddar in like 3 weeks.
He's like, I'll be home early.
Yeah, fun conspiracy theories there as the NBA turns. Rockets out to 9.5. I like Houston here, hottest team in the league, and yes, it is a get back spot, but still, that's a lot of points at home. For a Milwaukee team. So. First of all, I'm tilted, dude. I was on, I was complaining to you about that on Milwaukee on Wednesday night. And normally I watch every game. But that night was my niece's birthday, right? So I was checking the scores. All the 3 plays that I gave out were ahead at halftime, right? So enjoying dinner, finish up, go look. I'm like, how did I thought at worst it was going to be like 2-1. Like, how did all 3?
Yeah, it's like they all 3 went back.
Did you see the Milwaukee meltdown? How did that happen?
Yeah, that was bad. It's got to be one of the things. Miami just has to have their number. Like whatever Spoelstra does, just throws like a wrench into their gears, and they just can't do anything.
Yeah,
like he just has them. He has like their card tucked in his back pocket.
Yeah. Houston's on a 7-game win streak. This is We the People, but that ends today in the under here. Well, we'll see. Like I said, I think Houston can keep it within double digits. That line suggests.
I like that prop you just gave out in the chat.
Eric Chang, thank you for bringing the heat. And Tyler, I'll let you do the props right after I read this. Tate over 3.5 assists. It's juiced to minus 120, but hit in 6 straight. He's also played point with KPG and Green out. I mean, Tate's been a monster.
Yeah, I love that play. That was going to be one of the ones I leaned towards in this one. Was going to be his assist and even his points at 13.5.
And if you're building like a DFS lineup, right, he's got to be in there, right?
Yeah, I think so. Unless some of the other like DFS guys have like good cheap value guys.
We're gonna go Tate and Bagley for our little amateur core there so far, Tyler. All right, we like both those props, and We the People, that will be fun to see who is right, because I think the Rockets cover the spread here. And if the Rockets cover, I hate to say it, I'm going head to head with We the People here, because I would say if they cover, this more likely goes over, right? I think the blowout goes under. Close game goes over, so leaning the over there, but I'd rather play the side than the total. The Los Angeles Lakers, man, I want a grilled cheese sandwich that melts like this team. Minus 4.5 against the Oklahoma City Thunder, plus 4.5 for Oklahoma City. Tyler, I did watch this one last night, and Jonathan Nelson's not going to be happy with me because I had a smile from ear to ear as Memphis just took it to him, even with Dylan Brooks out, right? And not necessarily that they won, but how easily they won this game. Read a great thread today by, I don't even know his name. It's Tim NBA, and he calls himself something McBasketball. Anyways, he's a real good analytics guy for the Lakers. I hate reading his posts because he's so strong about everything, and he's always, helping the team that I don't really like. But he pointed out that AD had actually traveled like the most time on court out of anyone because he's playing inside and outside. So we get mad at him for not being down low on offense, but he's getting down low on defense. And then you know what's crazy? He has the most contested threes of anyone on the Lakers, right? And we talked yesterday, and you missed it, but I was talking about how much losing, KCP, and Caruso and Harrell hurt, right? And so now AD's having to pick up that slack. Because they don't have the other guys doing that stuff. So he's traveling so much time on court. I think that's why his offense is getting diminished. He's just working so hard to keep that team together defensively because LeBron is good when he wants to be. But as each year goes by in his career, he wants to be less and less. And Westbrook, I would say the same, but he hasn't wanted to be good on defense for at least like 3 years. I mean, some of the stuff he does when you watch the tape, it's just crazy. Guy that athletic to get off the dribble. And then also just to get lost. I think he hunts rebounds too much.
He's just ball staring, I think, most of the time. He's staring at the ball. He's not paying attention to his guy. How many times have you seen him stare at the ball and the guy backdoor cuts him and he's at the hoop before he realizes?
Yeah, and I think he's ball staring to time the rebound.
Yep.
Right? Because he wants to get it right when it goes off. So he's coming towards it at the same time because that's how he gets the majority of his rebounds is he's quicker and he jumps right. So if the big guy moves into him, it's a foul because he's actually on the trajectory right towards the ball, which I mean is great and it's really cool. That he's such a tenacious rebounder, but it does lead him to get lost. Jonathan Nelson says this team is cooked. AD doesn't look like himself. It's a little early to say that.
I don't disagree with him, though.
But, yeah, it's just so early. And if any team can, like, flip the switch, it's this team, right?
I say yes, but, I mean, these guys are getting old, spread. AD's always been made of glass.
AD's like 28 years old.
AD's made of glass. The other guys are getting old.
Yeah, I guess you're right. I think it really comes down to LeBron and how long you can keep doing this at top level. But I don't know, dude. It's just like these guys don't really get up. Like you talked about the Nets not caring about the regular season. Don't you feel the Lakers are the same way?
Yes and no, because after last year, I thought they were going to have more like a fire to come out, run through people, and get to the playoffs as like a top seed. And it just looks like
LeBron hasn't cared about home court since like 2013.
Yeah, but after all the noise last year, they get hurt, they lose, and then they watch Phoenix get all the way there and lose to Giannis when they knew AD could have did that to him in the playoffs. I thought this was going to be like their revenge tour.
Yeah, but I think if you watch that Phoenix series, right, and I bet on Phoenix, right? I bet on them for the series, and I bet on them almost every game, right? And I had the feeling if AD played that I wasn't going to win that bet, right?
Did you know the Lakers' net rating goes up 6 points with AD off the floor, and it goes down 5 points with LeBron off the floor?
That's weird.
Yeah, you think.
I just from watching a lot, though, I want to take into that. I think that AD's having to carry some bad lineups. I don't think LeBron plays like the crappy minutes. Like he's not him and the old guys, right? Him and Rajon Rondo, right? Any Rajon Rondo minutes are terrible at this point. He's not having to carry Wayne Ellington, who's pretty much just, diet but Buddy Hield. So, anyways, into this game, as bad as the Lakers are and as fun, because we have them here, championship or bust, right? The Thunder are like not worst record in the league or bust, right? They're just absolutely terrible. So as many of the flaws that we just pointed out on the Lakers coming off a loss, how could you not like them here? AD's questionable. I don't think it matters. I really don't think it matters. I think they just need one of the three. If they just have LeBron and they just have Westbrook, I still think they win here. Oh, and my guy Rajon Rondo is back. Trevor Ariza is still on the injury report. No one on the Thunder side. Pretty interesting. Am I wrong, Tyler? Am I missing another opportunity to fade my fierce rivals?
I mean, I don't think so. I really don't want to back it to OKC. If they lose this one, spread, they're screwed. Like, put the nail in.
But are they really screwed? Because all they have to do is make the playoffs, and nobody's going to want to play them.
I still think they're screwed. if they lose this one, like, you got to eventually start winning games that you should. You know what I mean? Like, just like you said, we're 30% of the way done. Like, at what point do you kind of like wake up, try and build some momentum, like get the team going? Like, you can't just roll into the playoffs and be like, all right, flick the switch, game one.
I guess, but like, how much different is for this team is number 6 compared to number 3, right? Because you're still going to be on the road in the second round most likely, anyways.
Yeah, very true.
So that's the only. I just long term, I still think they're there. I think they're fun to fade at this point of the year, before everything's really kicked in. I just can't do it tonight. So I'm not going to bet it though. But I do like the Lakers here at -4.5.
Yeah, I'm on the same side as you, but I agree. Staying away from it.
What do you think of a SGA points over? Eric Cheng likes that.
I don't hate it. I mean, just like you said, Russell Westbrook don't play defense. I don't hate taking Russ's points over at 19.5. He's back in OKC.
Great point. We the people just said in the chat right when you said it. Yeah. I mean, is that the ultimate? That's the thing, though. I mean, he didn't really leave on bad terms, right? He's like, "Hey, will you trade me?" And they're like, "Sure, Russ. You've done a lot for the team, right?" It's like, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I pulled up the standings real quick. I guess they're gonna somehow default into the playoffs, unless the Timberwolves or your Kings or the Trailblazers get their shit together and force.
Okay, so first of all, the Kings aren't, so throw them out. So it's either the Timberwolves and the Blazers. The Blazers technically could, but I think the Blazers go either way. First of all, like, I don't think the Blazers are going to be. I don't think they're going in the trade deadline without doing anything. So they're either going to buy or sell. I do not know which way, right? Sounds like Dame is pushing them, hey, get me Ben Simmons, I'll stay. But they might just say, you know what, this whole thing isn't working. I mean, they just fired their GM. The new guy might say, you know what, I don't have any attachment to any of these players. Give me a bunch of draft picks and let me build it my way. And let me do it right and not try and be the number 8 seed like Vivek Ranadive and the terrible Sacramento Kings do, right? Just tear it all down right now. Trade Dame, CJ, and Nurk. I mean, there's a lot of assets on that team to where if they got rid of them,
pieces,
they can get 6 or 7 picks between all those guys. If you trade off Covington, Nurk, Powell, right? I mean, just trade them all.
Yep.
Yeah. So because you could do 3 or 4 different trades. I think that all the players that I just mentioned, there's a playoff team that says, hey, this guy helps us advance to another round or get to the championship. Maybe not Nurk because center's like running back now. But I Powell, Covington, Lillard, and McCollum all have to have interest.
You just build around Simons at that point. Is he like your
or the new guys that you're getting? Yeah. The new guys that you're getting. Signed collectibles in the chat. Signed. I was talking to Susie this morning, and I told you that I was going to get back to you on some tennis. So I apologize. I have not done it yet, but hopefully those will be up for a little while. Pocket QB like Shea over 1.5 steals. I've never charted steals as a prop. Do you have thoughts on that?
I mean, I never charted him either, but I mean, we know Westbrook loves to turn it over. This Laker team kind of is like a daisical with the ball. I don't hate it.
Yeah, I don't hate it either, but I can't tell you if you have an edge or not. Andrew G wants to trade them for the Indiana 3. I think you go for picks if you're Portland and you tear it down. Just like if you're Indiana and you're tearing it down, I think you go for picks.
If you can move CJ, Nurk, and say one of your own picks, and you can get back Sabonis and LeVert, would you do it?
Sabonis, yeah, but I don't think. But why? Well, why would Indiana do that?
I mean, they're kind of. They said they were in rebuild. Like, just kind of give up.
Yeah, I would rather have picks.
We've seen teams do that where it's like, we're done here. Like, they trade for CJ and then they turn around and trade CJ somewhere else, or they buy him out.
Okay, and that's true. Like, if you just get him, like, didn't OKC do that basically when they traded PG? Because they traded and they got Sabonis and Depot, and then they traded Sabonis and Depot.
Yeah, they played him for a year.
Yeah. So, Pocket QB, great point. You know, for us older people, Sabonis, wouldn't that be cool? His dad was a Blazers legend. Wallace in the chat. Rest for Dame. Not going to happen, Jonathan Nelson. That's the most Lakers fan thing you've ever said. Lakers fans have the most ridiculous trades. Lakers fans are like, I'll trade you this Honda Accord.
I'll trade you this double cheeseburger for that filet mignon.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll give Jonathan Nelson the Lakers fan award of the day. Detroit Pistons are +6 heading on to New Orleans to take on the Pelicans. Pelicans are -6. Total is 211. I don't know. I like the Pistons, but do I want to bet on the Pistons? I don't. My model says to take the Pistons. I'm not betting it. What do you think, Tyler? Should I listen to the numbers, or am I smart to be to say discretion is the better part of valor and I shouldn't bet this?
Yeah, I'm staying away from this dumpster fire spread. We talked about OKC and Houston playing each other a lot this year.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this is probably the only matchup that can get worse unless you bring the Magic into the fold. So, yeah, staying away from this game as a whole.
Who do you think they're going to match up with Cade? I want to see Ingram try and guard him. I think that'd be cool, but I don't think they will.
It's probably going to have to be like an Ingram. No, Josh Hart's playing. It'll be him.
Oh, Cade's going to crush then.
Yeah, that'll be Josh
Cade will crush him. The only way he doesn't go off is he just misses.
But Hart was a good defender at some point.
He's just too small, and Cade knows how to beat smaller guys. I've been really impressed with Cade so far. The only nights he doesn't do good is when he misses his shots. But if you're watching like from like a coach's perspective, and remember, like I don't know how the new coaches are. I'm like knowing how I got coached like a long time ago, but he takes good shots. There's not a lot of shots that he takes that you go, that's a bad shot that you would think they'd be reviewing. Great question here. Who's going to guard Valanciunas?
Yeah, I mean, they're going to try and put Isaiah Stewart on him, but I think he's too little.
Yeah, I still think he can I still think that he can, like, I'm not saying, I don't know. I like Stewart there. I think Stewart's going to give him some problems. I don't think it's just going to be easy, like going against Charlotte or something. Eric Chang agrees with you. He says he likes the point rebound over there. Cade rebound assist over. I like that. I really like that, Eric. Then you don't have to worry about his shooting woes. I think he's going to be really active there. I actually like all these props better than everything that you guys mentioned on the side, but We the People is on the Pels and the over. Let's go to the last game of the night. Tyler, the Boston Celtics are +4, heading to Phoenix to take on the Suns. Suns -4. Originally, I was thinking about taking the Suns, but then I said, you know what? Because so many Booker's just recently been out. I don't have a nice sample of him out. I don't really trust my numbers here. I'm going to stay away because I don't really feel like that I adjusted for him properly. So I was happy I stayed away because then, so DeAndre Ayton, it says questionable, but I have the feeling that he's out altogether. Jaylen Brown's out, but of course I had already capped it with him being out, and Schrader's questionable, which of course would be a concern for Boston. I think this was a tough one to get involved with. Assuming Ayton's out, the line stays at 4. Who do you like?
Yeah, I mean, give me Phoenix here. They're just
really okay. So I was right the first time. I overthought it.
They're the better team. Like I'm not going to overthink it. Yes, they're missing Booker. They could be missing Ayton, but it's like Boston's on a team that's going to punish you down low.
Mm-hmm.
And they're just going to put Bridges on Tatum. He's a great defender. He's just going to try and lock him down. So,
yeah.
Give me Phoenix here. I think they win the game.
All right. That is Phoenix. Any props for this game?
Not that I've seen yet. The numbers are pretty much all off the board right now with all that news. So we got to wait for them guys to get either rolled in or out.
Okay. So, guess what that does? It gives me the opportunity to run this spiel because that means in order to find out if Tyler will play a prop on this game, since the numbers are not posted at the sportsbooks yet, you will need to become a member of runpurebets.com. Head on over to runpurebets.com. Use the promo code BETS25 off to become a member. You will get access to all the plays that we provide and, of course, to the private live shows. So that's what we've got going on there, Tyler. Hey, as long as we're giving a little shtick before the best bets, can you please like the video, subscribe to the channel, of course, share with your friends. That being said, Tyler, let's jump to the bets. What is your best bet for the day? Side total or prop?
Yeah, I'm going to roll with that Mobley over 14.5 points. I think he's going to dominate Vanderbilt down low.
I think he does too. And what are they going to do? Switch cat on him?
Yeah.
I think Naz Reid is the worst thing there for you. Wouldn't you agree?
Yep.
Yeah. But I think that Allen can take up some time. So I don't think that they're going to have a specific guy matched on him. I like your one there. And I know you disagree with me here, but I got to do it. I got to go with the Nets, man. I like them so much against the Hawks. And I know you say that they don't care about the regular season, but for whatever reason, I do think they will care about this game. Primetime game. And the thing that really indicated to me that is their willingness to rest the guys and basically punt the game in Houston, which I felt that they could have won if they went in at full strength. So that indicates to me that they've circled this one on their calendar. And why not? Because like I said, it could end up having playoff implications. It's so funny how people say, well, the regular season doesn't matter. Regular season doesn't care. And then the last 2 weeks of the season, right? We're watching as these guys are flipping all around the standings, going from the 3 seed, going down to the 6 seed, right? Yep. All based off the last week's results. And you think in your head, hey, if you'd won a couple games earlier, you'd be locked in that 2 seed and you wouldn't be having these worries and you'd be able to rest your guys. So, as much, as you don't want to overdo your guys during the regular season, there is some merit to getting that lead. And then you can rest your guys as the 1 or 2 seed going right in. And I think that's even better to go into the playoffs feeling healthy. So I think Steve Nash has that same mindset, and I do like the Brooklyn Nets. So for everybody watching, thank you for joining us. Tyler and I are going to do a quick change here. And then I spent most of the morning on the NBA. That's why I was real talkative on this show. I'll mainly be hosting the next show. And of course, I have a couple picks that I like. But for the most part, we will be relying on Tyler to do the heavy lifting as we break down the NFL. And we had to combine it because we originally were planning to go yesterday. But then if you guys don't know, Run Pure Sports had the Saber Sim rollout yesterday. And I didn't want to go on at the same time as them because I just felt it was too much information for everybody to try and take in at one time, right? So the idea is you learned how to use Saber Sim yesterday. You got the full attention on that. Now you know how to use it, or the resources to get if you still have questions, and we can go live. And of course, the NBA Hardwood live show will be on at the same time. So in that case, watch us later. But if you're an NFL guy, you can watch us now and just grab the cores off the sheet because I'm gonna have to do that because usually I watch Hardwood live, but of course I will be live with Tyler today. So we will be back in a matter of minutes. So be subscribed and you'll get the notification when we go live. Tyler, anything else for the people?
Nope. Just be back here in about 30 minutes. We'll be back with the NFL show.
All right. Bonus best bet from We the People. Hey, we should start doing this. Everyone, we'll do this next week. Remind me, Tyler. Everyone could throw some best bets in the chat and we'll read them off at the end of the segment as well. We the People says his best bet is Terrence Davis's over on point rebounds and assists. I'll tell you what, I haven't looked into that, but I have no problem giving that one out to the people from We the People. Thank you, everybody, for watching.